All right, so we have it recording. Good afternoon, everyone. We're excited to have you. My name is Olufumi. I'm a part of the Group 8, Middle Managers Group 8, and I'm excited to see you, Mrs. Oyetunji. You look so pretty. Just as you look in your picture, you're so pretty. So I'm going to call on Governor, Mr. Bukumi, to give us a brief introduction of why we're here today, and I'll be back, and then I'll hand over to our host for today. Thank you so much. Hello, sir. I think you're muted. We can't hear you.
Okay, so that's
okay. All right. So I realized that it wasn't my internet. We can't hear BK anymore. So I think it's an internet issue. So just give him a few minutes to join back. But we're excited to have you. So just please say hello in the chat box. Hello, what's your name and where you're joining us from? My name is Olu from Lagos. Super excited to be here. So just drop in the chat box your name and where you're joining us from. We have Mrs. Olayinka here. I just can't wait. Like, I'm super pumped, super excited. House rules,
oh, okay.
Please mute your mics. Oh, yes, he's back. All right, sir, welcome back.
Okay, sorry. So one of the hazards of this social, everybody has not had the experience of when you're on a virtual program and suddenly goes off. Everybody has faced that. Okay, so I think I didn't miss much. I think what you said was people should just indicate where they're from, where they're joining from, and I think that's fantastic. So at least we can see. I believe some people might be joining from Australia, from the far ends of the earth. Somebody is joining from the car. Maybe some people might be joining from their flight, flying to one part of the world from one, or some people might be joining on their bicycle. Somebody wrote something on social media some days ago. Now we have started. Okay, so in case you're wondering whether we have started because I told Fumi yesterday that we have to be business like that approach. I know that many meetings, so yeah, let's wait for 5 more minutes for people to join. But we have started. So so my job is not to deliver anything. We have a beautiful guest in guys. So there are some people that their picture doesn't show their real face. So you see their picture and then you're wondering, you can't reconcile, like, but there are some people that, their picture doesn't even do justice to their real face. And it's great to see. Sorry, somebody is calling me. Let me just put this in silent mode. It's great to have Yinka here with us. She's an amazing. In fact, when we put now I must confess I'm using this gimmick to also see if more people can join. But I've started my opening comments, so don't worry, we've started. So when we put the flyer, someone reached out to me, one of my colleagues, a senior manager in the office. I was amazed when she mentioned that, she put a comment, said she would likely be on this call, and she put a comment and said that Yinka has done a great job of building a very impressive personal brand. I can't remember whether those are the exact words, but something along that line. And she's not far from the truth at all. She's definitely spot on, and a lot of work has gone into it. That's the truth, and she's so best placed to share. I know we'll hear a lot of stories from her today that will create images in our hearts and will help us to be able to position ourselves. Some of us do. I can confess that one of the assets of Jesus, please help us put that mic on mute. It's one of the hazards of this virtual thing. Next thing you hear K2 Ojota bamboo now. Onipan. So let's just be on the lookout. Okay, so meeting Yinka then, Yinka might not know, but was an experience with her that helped me to basically refresh my LinkedIn profile. It was good, but I paid more attention to it. I started using it more because I'm very active on Facebook. I have almost there are 4,000 friends, if not more, on Facebook. I have a lot of friend requests, people that I think I don't even know them from anywhere. I just look, who is this person? I just move on. But the way she's been able to use her LinkedIn profile and to really position herself is impressive, and we're really privileged to have her here. Before we share our profile, summarized profile, what we share more or less the summarized profile, which Fumi will do the honor of doing. I'd just like to talk quickly about welcome everyone. I think this is a good place to say Happy Mothering Day. Now, women are just amazing. I did some research on Mother's Day some time ago, and I found out that in virtually every part of the world, where every day is Mother's Day in one way or the other. So some call it Mothering Day. So just go on Wikipedia, you'll find that I'm not lying. Women are celebrated, and they deserve to, because they're amazing. And we even have a woman here. Maybe I should be the one facilitating this. But women are just amazing, and we celebrate them. So happy Mothering Day, whether you're a mother now, or mother to be, or mother in Israel, or whichever one you are. Happy Mothering Day to you. So I want to also welcome various categories of people, because I know that different people are joining us from there. So now we have the interruption again. So help us mute that mic. I think the next time we're holding our session, we'll have to use the conference version. We'll have to find that conference version. That one, nobody can do it or just improve on it. Okay, so apologies for the interruption. So welcome all the 8 groups. So this session is being organized by the Middle Managers Group, the combined groups together. There are 8 groups in the Community Groups Program. So I just talk quickly about the Community Groups Program. It's an initiative of the Covenant Nation. Still getting used to the name. And it's a brainchild of the pastor, Pastor Boju. And the idea behind this is to provide a platform for people with similar goals, similar objectives, who are in similar states, levels in their career, to be able to come together to share. So what we've done in our group is to have an acronym to guide the things that we do. I can see there's some feedback. Okay, is to have an acronym to guide the things that we do. And the first thing is that we say that we're here to, I don't want to make a mistake, to learn. So we learn together, and then we bond. Now in that bonding is very interesting. I can see there's some presentation, and it will not work. Okay, I'm back now. And the next thing is to bond. Now that bonding is very important. In fact, in one of the group leaders decided to do a census: who is married, who is unmarried, and maybe he wants to pair people, I don't know. But the guy was just saying, "We have declare your marital status." I said, "Okay, what's going on here?" But really, it's also an opportunity for people to bond. We had a couple that came out of that program last year, where we hope to see more couples. But it doesn't mean that you go and tag them and say, "Yeah, I claim you." But if it works out, all well and good. And then the next thing is to share, such that we're able to share. So you're not just learning, you're also sharing with other people. Some interactions that have happened in the last few days have been amazing. People have been sharing experiences that I believe are, the mind-blowing experiences in the various groups that will help people develop the right mindset to grow into the next step. And then the next thing, which I just mentioned the word, to grow, to learn, share, learn, bond, share, and grow. Those are the 4 words that guide what we do. So the intent, the overriding principle is, at the end of the day, everyone will grow and will develop and will get to the next level in our career, regardless of where you are, the important things that you grow. So thank you so much. So the Covenant Nation has that initiative. And in case you want to join, because I know that people who are on this webinar who are not members of the Covenant Nation, will welcome you. The next semester will start, I believe, in August. So the publicity will start going out from around June, July, thereabout. So just be on the lookout. Yeah, thanks for posting that. Yeah, I mean, Lion Bond check, that's amazing. And so I think, let me just check my notes to be sure that I've not missed out anything. Yeah, so sit back, relax, have a cup of coffee, juice, whichever one suits you to celebrate Modern Day, and we'll have Yinka join us. But before then, I believe Fumi has a few words to say about Yinka. Thank you so much and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. We are super excited. I mean, it's almost time. Let's just get right into it. So we're going to go over to our profile now, and I'm going to have Oche just briefly go through this. He has asked for the honor to introduce her. I'm sure there's an interaction, like he's really excited to introduce you. So, all right, Oche, please jump on it so we can give her the floor.
All right, good evening all, and welcome to today's session with Mrs. Olayinka Oyetunji. So she's married and blessed with 3 kids. Mrs. Olayinka is a chartered holder of the CFA Institute, a chartered accountant, and a chartered stockbroker. She works with Ernst & Young as a manager in strategy and transactions. She has over 12 years experience in brokering mergers and acquisitions, valuations, financial modeling, and due diligence, as well as infrastructure and public sector advisory. She consults for both public and private sector clients. She is the convener of an initiative called Clean with Olayinka, a platform that uses storytelling to re-energize and inspire people. She's also a CFA lecturer at New Frontiers Learning Center and takes finance courses at other tuition centers. She is a volunteer at Gender Diversity of the CFA Society Nigeria. She is the governor of the Work and Study Groups, and she is also a member of Covenant Capital. She loves to write, read, and meet people. Now with joy in our hearts, I would like all to welcome Mrs. Olayinka Oyetunji as she takes us today on the topic of personal branding. Thank you.
Drum rolls. Thank you so much. All right, over to you, Ma.
All right, thank you so much for this warm welcome. I really want to appreciate you for the privilege you've given to me to speak with you. It's not something that I take for granted, and I believe that by the end of this session, we are going to be making deliberate steps about our brand. And I trust that you are also going to make this session engaging. If you will permit me, please let me share my screen so that I can speak to what I have prepared for you. For me, I'm unable to share. You have to enable me.
Okay, I made you a co-host, so I thought that was going to solve that, but I'll just change that now.
Okay.
Can you try again now, Ma?
Okay, absolutely. We are good to go.
All right.
Here for me. Okay, so I want to believe you can see my screen. So we're going to be talking about compelling personal brand and how it's very critical for your career growth. In this discussion, we are going to be looking at what personal branding is. I'm not going to assume that we all know what personal branding is. I'm also going to be talking about the dimensions or the elements of personal branding and giving you tips on how you can build your personal brand. And then we would crown it with the power of personal branding, the benefits that you can derive from personal branding. Like Jesus has shared about me, I like teaching with stories, all right, because I believe that's one of the things that makes impact in people that people never forget. And I want us to make this session as interactive as we can. I'm sure you can see these 3 men, okay? So I want someone to tell me, when you see the first person, with Pastor Kojo, what comes to your mind? Just in one word, what comes to your mind? Or one sentence. I just don't want us to take too much time. What comes to your mind when you see Pastor Kojo or when you hear about him?
Insights for living.
Insights for living. Thank you very much. Practical insights. That's what he does. He gives you practical insights. The second man at the middle, Sam Adeyemi, what comes to your mind?
Leadership.
Leadership. Thank you very much. That's the word, leadership. The third man, this is Reverend Adeboye. What comes to your mind?
Righteousness.
Righteousness, holiness. Exactly. That is what comes to your mind. You know, I believe if we stop this session at this point, we already got the message. What am I saying about personal branding? They stand for something. You are very clear as to what their message is, and that is what personal branding is about. They are not in this room with us, but we have said something about them, which is their personal brand. So personal branding is what do people say about you when you are not there. Some of us, we don't know what people are saying, or what people are saying is different from what we think, the kind of impressions that we are making. And those are the things that we want to address in this session. Let's look at this next slide. Can you remember these two men? Do you know them? We have Jim. Yes. All right. So who is more memorable? And why would you say he's memorable?
Tony Elumelu.
Tony Elumelu.
I share that sentiment as well, but why? Why is he more memorable?
Well,
capitalism.
It has a foundation that helps entrepreneur, I think. So for me,
he has a foundation. He's memorable. Any other answer?
Jimovia.
Well, he's impacting more life than Jimovia.
Did you hear that? I said Jimovia. But that's not
Jimovia.
Opinion.
No, Jimovia.
Okay.
Tony Numelu. Because he has been able to create a lot of avenue for youths from all over Africa to express themselves in their business ideas
Okay. So that's, I mean, I like the fact that we're not going to debate this for too long, but I like that we get the message. The message is, are you memorable? All right. Now, this is the big question. When you're not in a room, how do people describe you? You may not know if you have not asked or people have not given you clues, but this is something that you need to pay attention to. Over the course of my career, right, I've met people that are very intelligent, they are very technically sound, but they don't go as far as those that are not as intelligent or are not as technically sound. What do you think is missing? From my research, it is personal branding is one of it. Personal branding is one of the things you call soft skill. It's part of self-leadership. It's part of personal growth. I'm sure you know, I mean, just take a look at your organization, and I'm sure you can identify some people that, yes, they are good. They are the go-to person. They know everything. But when it comes to, we want to give people ad hoc assignments, or we want to promote someone, their names don't come up. It's not because they are not competent, but why is this? It's because something is missing. That something is personal branding, and it's very little. It involves just little things, little adjustments that make huge difference, okay? Your personal branding is not something that as a professional you should neglect, because it has huge impact on your career, and not only your career, even your business and your entire life. It's very critical for your career growth. I don't know how else to say it. And you know, if you are not paying attention to it, you are doing yourself a great disservice. And I don't know why any professional that has the intention of being the top in his or her industry will not pay attention to this. This brand is also an important commodity in your career. I mean, it's something that I've done my research, it's something that is huge, has huge benefits, and can benefit you if you pay attention to it. Personally, just as Bukumi has said, I'm also benefiting from the huge benefits of building a personal brand. let me tell you that this week, I just woke up to see that I was nominated as one of the top 100 career women in Nigeria. And when I looked at the profile of the other 99 women, I was wondering how on earth I got on that list. And it's nothing more than a product of personal branding. At work, I also have opportunities of taking on ad hoc assignments. When they ask me to lead market activities, all right? That's because they believe that I have that market presence. So these are some of the things that gives you visibility at work. Now, let me tell you some other things. If you're not convinced with the first two that I've told you, there's this particular CFO of a company, I'm a financial consultant, and I've been trying to reach out to that CFO. I know him from afar, but I just didn't have, I've not had the opportunity of being in the same room with him or reaching out to him, which I didn't think would be appropriate. And guess what? There was a particular day that I shared a story on LinkedIn, and he sent me a message, and he said, I read your stories. Thank you for putting up these stories. So it was so easy for me to get direct access to him. And I was like, wow, thank you very much. You know what? I've been trying to reach you. Please share your mobile with me. And of course, today, the rest is history. In addition to this, I get invitations like this to come speak to people. I get invitations to come launch books that I'm not a part of. All these are things that gives you the opportunities that you need for your career growth. You can't just say, what I want to do is I just want to do my work. I just want to follow the JD of my work. I'm not going to do anything more. You need to aid your career. If you are not going to aid your career with things that you are doing deliberately, it might be difficult to go very far. Oh yes, I understand there are some people that love to be in the background. I also love to be in the background. Would you believe that? I love it too. I don't want anybody to hear my name. I just want to be there. But you know what? For certain professions, especially finance, you can't afford to be in the background. You can't afford to say that, I'm an introvert. Yes, I'm also an introvert, but you have to create a persona for yourself. I know it's not easy, but you have to do it deliberately. Look at the objectives that you want to achieve. Oh, what do I want to achieve in my career? I want to be named one of the top. I want to be known. I want to be a pace setter. Then if that is it, personal branding is something that you have to do. So now let's get into some of these technicalities. Everybody has a personal brand. That is just the truth. But the question is, are you building a compelling one? Are you building a personal brand that you can leverage for your career? Are you sending the right message? That's the question you have to ask yourself. You know what I discovered lately? That the way you see yourself is probably different from the way others see you. And what is personal branding about? Is about the impressions you make. You have to, at every point in time, make sure that you are making the right impression. And you give people the opportunity to make the perception about you. You can't control how people perceive you, all right? You can't control that, but you can control the impressions you make. Secondly, are you deliberate with your personal brand? If you think that you are a brand, you won't do things haphazardly. You won't behave anyhow. You won't, there's some, you will carry yourself with presence, with grace, knowing that, oh, this is a brand that I'm trying to build. You're not just, okay, it's not just I'm working somewhere, I'm just working somewhere. It's about you and about the brand that you are trying to build. The funny thing is this: if you do not brand yourself deliberately, others will brand you, all right? So you have the responsibility is on you. That's why I said personal branding is part of self-leadership. The responsibility is on you to make sure that you are making the right impression at every time. Every time people come in contact with you, whether it's online or in person, the message have to be in sync, and we're going to get to that. You have to make sure that the message that you're sending across is the same, is the message that you intend to send. So that when you think you're sending A, People are not getting message B. Another thing I want you to note is that every good brand is not an accident. Every good brand is built. Every good brand is built intentionally and with purpose. As middle managers, I'm sorry, or as a professional at any level, even whether you are just starting out or you're already reaching the peak of your career, an accidental brand will not work for you. It's not going to work. Your technical skills alone cannot work for you. You have to make sure that you are having a balance between the technical and the soft. And part of what I would say constitutes most of the soft is personal branding, because personal branding is all encompassing. When we get to the elements or the dimensions, you would see it. A good brand is well crafted. You know, what I mean is you have to know the impact you are making on people, and you have to be sure that the impact that you are making is what you intended to make. The last critical question that you should also be asking yourself is this, that are you leveraging your personal brand to create success for yourself? You know, success is not an accident. You never wake up to be successful. Success is, they say, something is an accumulation of what you have done over time, accumulation of your habits that you do daily or hourly or every minute. So same way, your brand cannot be an accident. You have to be deliberate in building it, and you have to make sure that you are leveraging it to create your success. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. You can't advance in your career. You can't reach the peak. You can't have some opportunities that are outside of your work, the visibility that you need, if you are not paying attention to your personal brand. Nobody can promote you like you will promote yourself. And that's why I said, don't leave the responsibility of your personal brand to somebody else. If you look at the picture on the slide on the left, what is personal branding? You are different from amongst a group of people. You are different, you are distinct. Everybody is in blue, you are appearing in red, just because you are different. And what does personal branding do? It's just a way of communicating who you are. People want to relate with the you, all right? And what do I mean with the you? The you encompasses your skills, your experience, your personality, your attitude, your outlook to life. It encompasses everything about you. And that is exactly what people want to know, all right? It is how you express yourself. I mean, some people prefer to express themselves, you know, through video. Some people like to express themselves through writing. I would say I prefer to express myself through writing. Some people try to express themselves through maybe their voice notes or anything. So what we are saying is it's the way you communicate that you, which is the wow factor about you. We all have magic powers. We all have things that make us different. The challenge is most times, many of us, we keep that magic that is about us. We keep those experiences to ourselves instead of using it to build a brand, instead of using it to tell a story about who we are. So to summarize, I would say that your personal brand is everything about you. When you intentionally create that story about you, you are already building a brand, because you will deliberately be making the right impressions. So when you're talking about a personal brand, what you're talking about is the character, all right, and the storyline. What I mean by character is, if you look at Obama is a character. If you look at James Bond is a character. We looked at those men, those 5 men, they are characters. The character and the storyline is what makes the brand. What makes a good brand? People are able to recognize you for something. They are able to know what your message is. You are not giving them conflicting information. You know, they understand, they know you, they understand your experience, they understand your personality, they know what they should expect when they meet you. It's not like when they meet you physically, it's different from the image that you have painted to them online. That's not a brand that would last. So let me tell you a story about my personal brand. I defined my personal brand from my purpose, all right, which I came to discover from series of experiences and life challenges that I faced, all right, through my journey. Like I said, I told you that personal branding is a communication tool. You're just using it to communicate who you are, because people really want to know who you are, your skills, your experience, your attitude, your personality, and all that. So I've been able to build my brand around a single message, which is inspiring people. My ambition is clear. I just want to be a global inspiration. What do I mean? I want people to know that they are limitless. And how do I communicate this? I say this through all the experiences that I've heard. So if you ask me that what is my purpose statement on earth, what am I on earth to do? I will tell you that I'm here to inspire people to see beyond their limitations in order to achieve things they initially considered impossible. And that's because through my experiences in life, I've been able to achieve things I considered hitherto impossible. So now, let me give you some more story about who Olayinka is. Like Jesus read from my profile, I'm a charter holder of the CFA Institute. I'm a chartered accountant and a chartered stockbroker. However, I grew up suffering academic challenges. In primary and secondary school, I was always below average. And if I'm the best I can ever be was an average, At 15 years, I survived a fire accident that should have taken my life, all right? When I finished secondary school, I wasn't able to gain admission into the university when my mates were already in 300 level. As if that was not enough. When I got my first job, I lost it 4 years into it, and I had to start looking for another job. When I got married, I wasn't able to have children for about 4 years. So all these experiences are what makes who I am. And that is what I'm leveraging on, my experience to, communicate my message, my purpose to people. Now, through these experiences, I've built my personal brand around resilience. So I've come to discover that if I am determined and dedicated to achieving something, I'm actually able to do it. And what do? I use the transformative power of storytelling. Everybody likes to hear stories, all right? I use that power of storytelling to cause people to change their behavior. That's it. And I use that power to make people believe and know and accept that actually there's nothing that you can't achieve. There's nothing that is totally, totally impossible. Because if you look at my journey, I've had unique, challenging life experience that I don't know if there are too many of us that have gone through those kind of experiences. And to sum it up, I'll say to anyone that, okay, if you give me 6 words, how would I describe myself? How would I describe my brand? And I'll say, believe and pursue. Everything is possible. Once you believe and you pursue, you are dedicated to what you want to achieve. There's nothing that you won't be able to achieve. So through personal branding, so imagine Olayinka is there, she's gone through all of these experiences and she's not saying anything. She's not sharing her experiences. She's not leveraging on her skills. That would have been a good brand gone down the drain. So what do? I use this platform to communicate my experiences and build a brand and inspire people so that they can be a change. You see, remember I said personal branding is a combination of two things, the character, Olayinka, and my story, the backstory, the story behind me, the story that sums who I am. That is what people want to know. They want to know the real you. Personal branding is also the art of managing and marketing that uniqueness about you. You know what? You are very unique. If you don't know you are unique, then you need to go and find out what makes you unique. There's nothing that's ever happened to you that is an accident, whether in your career or life, even if, what you just like to do is, I just like to run around the house. That thing is something unique about you. And it is your job, your responsibility as part of self-leadership to communicate that wow factor about you, that magic power that you have. You need to let the world know about it. And that's what personal branding is about. Personal branding is not something that is seen, but it controls so many things that are seen. You can't see it. You can't see. I'm a financial consultant. Any day you ask me, or I'll say that I teach finance, I'm a teacher. I can't say that I'm an expert in personal branding, but I can see personal branding controlling so many things in my life. I can see it controlling so many things in my career. I can see it controlling so many things in the kind of opportunities that people open me up to. There are some things that, you know, they'll just say, oh, Yinka, we need your opinion on this. It's not because I'm the best on the team, but it's because they believe that I have a strong personal brand that they want to leverage on. So how do I summarize it? I'm in the business of being Olayinka. I just want to be myself. I just want to express myself. So I see Olayinka as a brand, you know, something that should be associated with excellence. And that is what personal branding is about. You have to look at yourself and say, what do I want to build my personal brand about? I'm building mine on resilience, and the end result is getting people to get inspired and change their behaviors. You have to ask yourself, what is that unique thing that makes me different that I can build a personal brand around? Never be naive about your brand, okay? Never be naive about your personal brand. Like I said before, if you don't, if you're not deliberate and create the kind of brand you want, other people will brand you. So it is your responsibility to find that wow thing. Many of us don't know how powerful we can make our personal brand just because, you know, we are letting fear of the unknown, or we are letting, I just want to be in the background, I'm just an introvert, keep us away from who we can truly be and how powerful that we can truly get. If you are purposeful with your brand, you are going to attract the right kind of people. work, all right, and then come to LinkedIn and be saying the opposite of what I'm telling people to do. I do my work with excellence, I pursue excellence, and then I make sure that I am also conscious of building, all right, that brand. You know what, for those that follow me on LinkedIn, I have a professional photographer that takes my pictures. I don't just take my phone and do selfie and then post it. People don't appreciate such things. I take it very seriously. I have a professional photographer. I have a makeup artist that does my prepares me for the pictures. And in fact, I also set the stage, all right? When I want to take those pictures, I already know the kind of stories I want to share. If, say, for instance, I want to share a story about how to manage your time, that your time is precious, you will probably see me holding a clock, or you'll probably see me, sitting by a clock or something, like, just to depict the story that I'm trying to tell, all right? What else do I do? I make myself seen. You can't say you want to grow in your career and at the same time you say you want to be in the background. It doesn't work. Being an introvert doesn't work. I'm sorry. I'm also an introvert, all right? But I built a persona that I'm an extrovert. I'm not an extrovert too. I like to be in my room, be in my bed reading. I'm sure from my qualifications, you know that I like to read. I just like to be on my own. But if you know that you have a target, I want to excel in my career, then you have to create that persona that will be required for you to excel. There is no personal brand that is an accident. It is built deliberately. You build it intentionally. If you don't do it, others will do it for you. And your job, is to make sure that you are promoting that special thing about you. Make sure that you are promoting it. Make sure that strategically, creatively, and professionally, you are communicating that why me. Why should people talk about me? Why should people nominate me to be one of the top 100 career women in Nigeria? That why me, is what is your job. So yes, you've gotten the all the professional qualifications. If you're an accountant, you have the ACA, you have the ACCA, you have this, you have that. But beyond that, those things don't promote, all right? Of course, I guess I'm in the right position to say, at least I have the highest qualification in finance. I'm a charter holder of the CFA Institute, a very difficult exam, all right? And I'm telling you that the fact that you have CFA does not mean that the world will be falling over you to say, please, let us employ you because you have CFA. No, it doesn't work like that. What they want to know is what makes you different. What the world wants to know is what makes you different. And it's also about the impression that you are making. I call it content and container management. You have to manage the content, which is the technical skills, and the container, which is the soft skills. Personal branding is the content and container marketing, as well as being aware of the impressions you make on people. So for instance, I told you that I make sure that I take my work very seriously. When someone gives me work to do at work, I don't come back with a shoddy report, because it's a dent on my career. If at all they find mistakes on my work, you need to know how bad I always feel like. Oh my God, I'll say, Olayinka, no man, you messed up. Please make sure this doesn't happen again. And that's because I see my brand. It's not just coming on LinkedIn to say, do this, do that. It's not about that. It's about, striving for excellence, looking for excellence, all right? So what do we have here? When you see your personal brand as an asset, you will do things differently. If you understand that you are a brand, I am a brand, it's not because they named me anything. I see myself as a brand, all right? If you see yourself as a brand, you won't just do things anyhow. You won't talk anyhow. You won't appear to work dressed anyhow, all right? You won't go to work and be gossiping, because you know that those things are not good for your brand. So now let's take a look at the personal branding dimensions so that run out of time. It comes from your purpose, your values, your attitude, your image, and value. So let's look at each of this. Remember that I said that brand you is about your magic, okay? And if you're talking about your magic, what are the elements of those magic?
Sorry, Yinka, please unmute yourself. I had to mute everyone. Some children were playing in the background. They are building their personal brand, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I was saying that for the dimensions, we are going to be looking at purpose, value, all right? And when I talk about purpose, what do I mean? All right, that purpose is who you are. What is your drive? What is your mission? Do you know what you are here to do? I've told you what my purpose is and how I've related it to my personal brand, because that purpose is what makes you different. I can assure you we all have different assignments on us. So you need to find out what your assignment is and build your brand around that particular assignment, because this is what differentiates you. And what does this also mean? It means you have to be focused. Your message have to be the same. You have to know who your target audience is and make sure that you're sending them consistent message. You're not confusing your audience. You have to know what your drive is. What is your mission? What are you passionate about? What impact do you want to make? If you say you have a personal brand and you're not using it to solve a problem, or you're not using it to make impact in people, or you're not using it to carve a niche for yourself, I'm not sure that's going to be a compelling personal brand. So like I've told you, that differentiating factor, that wow me, that thing that makes you different comes from your purpose. And this purpose is derived from your purpose plus your personal experiences. Remember, character plus backstory. What are those experiences that you have that make you different? I've let all my personal experiences, I've never let them go to waste, because I leverage them to make sure that I use it to define my personal brand and use it to communicate my experiences to others so that others can learn from it. So imagine that, I had the experience and then I did not observe that there was a need in my society, which is that, okay, so because I teach CFA classes, I tend to meet a lot of people in my journey, and I just discovered that people, they give up too soon. So for instance, somebody can write an exam once and then the person wants to give up, and in my mind I'll be like, we did it 3 times, things like that. So your brand should be built around solving a problem. I recognize a need in my society, which is people give up too soon, and I want people to be resilient. I want people to be dogged. I want people to inspire to know that, okay, even if there is a mountain before me, if I'm determined, yes, we can still climb this mountain. So what do? I use my uniqueness that is derived from my purpose and my personal experiences to, perpetuate my brand. I post content on LinkedIn using my personal experiences to let the world know that I, Olayinka should be associated with being an ardent believer that nothing is impossible. And that belief is from all the challenges that I've been able to surmount. So let me tell you another challenge about let me tell you another part of the story about my CFA journey. I wrote CFA, one of the most difficult exams, with 3 young kids, all right? And one of the stage, I even had the CFA exam on my delivery date. I was pregnant. I was supposed to have the baby on that day, but I still went ahead to write the exam. So from all of these experiences, I shared with people just to inspire them to know that actually there's nothing absolutely that you can achieve if you put your mind to achieving it. And this focus allows people to remember you. So I don't talk about politics today and then talk about leadership tomorrow, and then the next tomorrow I talk about food. If you keep doing that, if you don't have focus, people won't know what they should remember you for. A good character is one that people can recognize, they can associate with something. The message is clear. I have so many people tell me every time that, Olayinka, you inspire me. And when I hear that, I'm grateful, because what it means is that my brand is achieving its purpose, which is to be a global inspiration. Also, in building your brand, you need to be genuine. Most people are not authentic, and people are not authentic because nobody wants to be vulnerable, but vulnerability is one of the hallmark of leadership. So what am I saying? don't have a confusing personality. Just be yourself. People like to meet real people. You just be yourself, all right? So that your audience will know that, yes, the focus is the same, the message is the same. Let's go to the next pillar, which is value. Your brand needs to be associated with a skill set. You can't say that you have a compelling brand if you are not creating value, all right? You have to use your skill set to create value. What problem are you solving with your skill set? I'm a financial analyst. I'm happy discussing with government because I know that no matter what, if I work on an infrastructure project, it's going to have impact in the lives of people. So it's not just the showbiz, so to speak. It's about building, creating value for people, making sure that you're having impact. Most people are in organizations that they don't even know what the competency structure of the organization is. You don't know what is required of you as a middle manager or as a manager, the skill set that you're supposed to have. Please make sure that you are investing in yourself. Make sure that you are building your skill sets. You're not just building the container and there's no content, all right? There should be, so when they meet you and they engage, so if you have built a profile on LinkedIn and people say, wow, 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 and they invite you for an interview and you can't defend all those things that you've put up, you know, it will be quite embarrassing. So what am I saying? Make sure that you're refining your skill set and you're developing new ones. Don't be the best, be an expert, have thought leaderships, write articles, you know, use your skills and make sure that you are doing it in a way that you are accentuating your strengths. And of course, as middle managers, I'm sure you know where you work. I'm sure you know that, let's say associates, that if you give them work to do, they always come back with less than expected kind of output. They turn out excellent work. That is their brand. So next time when you want to give them work, you just be like, I'm not going to give A, I'm going to give B because A, I'm not sure it's going to give me. So that is a brand. Make sure that your brand has value. So let's look at the next thing. Look at image, for instance. What comes to people's mind when they hear your name is image. What kind of image do they have? Do they have the image that she's always well dressed? Or they have the image that it comes shabbily dressed? Your image is very, very important. And that image is what you look like. So what am I trying to say? Your look and the brand that you are trying to create have to be in sync, okay? So like I said before, some of us, we don't have professional pictures on LinkedIn. Let's say you are a financial consultant, like me, or you're an accountant, and we know the way accountants dress. They are always conservative in their dark color suit, all right? But when they come to your LinkedIn page, you're wearing a t-shirt and face cap, and it's the profile picture. Do you think anybody will come looking for you or take you seriously? No. So make sure that your image, your image online and offline are in sync. You know what? This image is something that is very, very important, and it includes your clothing and your grooming. We're still going to talk about it. But as part of image, if you as a person, you dress up, let's say you are going for a meeting and you don't say, look at yourself and say, wow, see babe, you have not tried, all right? Because when we get to dressing, we're still going to talk about it, but you have not dressed up if you have not admired yourself, your own self, and look like, wow, Olayinka, you are really looking nice before you step out of your house. Attitude, very, very, very important. I have a popular saying that technical skills with bad attitude is bad news. Whether, let's say you're even the most intelligent person and you have bad attitude, people would give you space. They won't want to work with you. Positive outlook is very, very useful. Please be friendly, smile. Demonstrate personal, social, and emotional intelligence, all right? Let people know that you are self-motivated. Don't wait on what the environment is saying before you respond positively. You know why? Because we are always sending vibes to the environment. So people can pick it from their signals. We all send signals. So whether you're happy or not, people will know. And whether you are committed to your work or you are not committed, they can always pick it. Make sure that you always act appropriately at all times. Always demonstrate intelligence, okay? Apply the knowledge that you know. Be helpful, help people around you. Now, looking at values, the last element that we'll be looking at, your values. Define your ethics. What does values do for you? It is what guides your behavior. It is what guides your choices, the decisions you make. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. There are some people that people don't know what they stand for. So let's say you're an accountant in an organization. People should be able to say, I trust this person will never do this. All right, they should know what it should be clear. It should be like an open book that people can see. It's part of your personal brand. Now, let's come to dressing. You know the way I see dressing? Dressing is a work tool. You know the way a farmer would go to the farm with his cutlass and his hoe. If it's a traditional farmer, if it's not industry, that's how your dressing that's the way you should look at your dressing. Dressing is not for fashion, no. It's a tool, a work tool. You know what I do? As I'm buying books to develop my brain, I'm also buying clothes to dress up for the role. You know why? Before people wait to hear what you will say, they first of all assess you by the way you look. So if you say that, I'm a chartered accountant, that's all that matters, and then you put green tie on, red shoe, and then you wear blue shirt and just come and just dress anyhow without paying attention to your dressing or how you look. Guy, whether you can balance the balance sheet in 1 minute, they are not going to give you opportunities to grow. They are not going to give you new tasks. Why? Because you are not dressing like you are ready for the next level. If you are not, as a middle manager, I expect you to be dressing like the manager. Make sure you are dressing up for the next level. It lets people know. I mean, it gives the impression that, yeah, she's ready for a more senior role. She's ready for more opportunities. And of course, you know what? If you are always dressing well to work, they'll be inviting you to attend meetings with them. And you know, it is through these meetings that you meet relationships that will help your career. And that is part of what personal branding is about. Make sure that you always dress appropriately at all times. Okay? And of course, colors have, they speak volumes. Understand the psychology of colors. You know, make sure that the color of what you are wearing fits the occasion. Clothing is very important. The container, the image, and the content are skills. Clothing is like the icing on top of the cake. Make sure that you look the parts and you always make a statement with your look. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but what I will say is make sure that you're investing in your wardrobe as much as you're investing in your hair. Because let me tell you, everybody, when I meet someone, the first thing I will look at is how do you look? Before I now say, so you have so you have ACCA. Because that's the way everybody is wired. They just want to see how you look before they hear what you have to say. And of course, please, image is everything, like I said. Maintain cleanliness, smell nice, look nice, you know. Don't have bad breath, don't have dirty nails, because all these things also affect your confidence, all right? Confidence is part of personal branding. You don't want to, so imagine they've said, oh, Olayinka is this, Olayinka is that, and they say, oh, Olayinka, come and present to us on personal, and I say, Olayinka is it, you know? You have to always project confidence. And now let me tell you, so many times you always think that, oh, some people are just born confident. Nobody is born confident. Everybody has that butterfly in their stomach when they say, come and talk to a crowd. Everybody has that part of them. I always ask, Olayinka, are you sure? Are you sure you're not going to disgrace yourself? All right. It's a skill that you have to learn. And it's good you start learning early, because it is people that are confident that get the opportunities. So there's this research that was done by Ami Cody. She's a professor of psychology. And she did a research on how the way you sit or the way you project your body, how it affects your confidence and how it affects your mental outlook. And she found out that for those that are always doing like this, folding up, you know, it doesn't have good outlook on their confidence. But for people that open up, you know, you just open up, do the Wonder Woman style, open up, put your leg on the table, you know, those kind of things, just open up. It has an impact on your confidence level. So make sure that you wear confidence as a clothing. It's not talent that God just gives us and say, you, oh yeah, take, be confident. You don't be confident. No. There's no brand that is a brand that is not solving a problem. Use it to serve other people. Use it to add value to your organization. Remember, I said one of the dimensions of personal branding is value. What value are you bringing to the table? Why should people listen to you? Why should they come to you to seek advice? It's because you are solving a problem. Find your uniqueness, use it to serve others. Make sure you're impacting the lives of people. I've told you that I have an initiative called Clean that I use. It's a platform that I use to inspire people, just to build capacity in people. All right, that is what my personal brand is about. Be excellence driven. Have an insatiable thirst for knowledge. Read books, absorb, teach others, be a thought leader. You can't say you are in an industry, let's say you're in oil and gas industry, and you've not released any article about the oil and gas, you've not released any article about, you know, things that's impacting your industry. People don't even know what your thoughts are. Please make sure that you are driving excellence and you are producing, you know, you are producing things that are relevant to your industry or things that are relevant to the kind of brand that you want to build. And of course, there are so many media that you can use. Some prefer Twitter, some prefer Facebook, some prefer LinkedIn, some prefer Instagram, whatever you are comfortable with. Just make sure that you are communicating, you know, communicating your experience, communicating your thoughts, your ideas through this media. Find whatever style works for you, all right? Make sure that you are consistent with your content. So people would know, those that are observant will know that I make my post every Tuesday morning. When you wake up on Tuesday, you would have seen my post. If I make it on a Monday, something must have happened. If I make it on a Friday, then there must be an event that happened on Monday or Friday. But what I'm saying is just be consistent. People always, you know, they like it when people are consistent. Try to be consistent. And I would also say be authentic. Don't be yourself, all right? There are so many people that are not themselves, and people are always looking for these real people. Be authentic. Do not confuse the audience. Do not post about things that are irrelevant. If there's any unprofessional pictures or image about you, please make sure that those things have been deleted, all right? And of course, if you are building a brand, be ready for attacks. People will attack you, but it's part of the personal branding. However, what I would also say is that please do not position yourself to be what you are not. Don't be A and be pretending to be B. Be authentic. A step at a time. It takes effort. You know, we've said that personal branding is intentional, it's deliberate, it's never accidental. It takes time to build. Be committed to it. Just like you will say, I have a meeting at work between 8 and 10 on Monday morning. Also have a time between so on a particular day where you are investing in your personal brand. Break down the strategy you want to use into things that you can manage, that is not too big for you. You don't have to rush, but I can assure you that it's a long-term thing. Personal branding is always evolving, always dynamic. It's not something that you should rush about. Just take your time. And of course, also embrace your failure. It's a learning curve. When I started posting on LinkedIn, I didn't start with personal stories. I started posting about how to make businesses grow. All right. But I discovered that first, one, it wasn't what people wanted to read. And of course, there are so many people doing that. And I was like, okay, so what is different about me? What is unique about me? And I decided I was going to try to bring myself more out there and share about my personal experiences that are career related. So everything I share on my LinkedIn, it might sound like it's a personal story, but everything boils down to career, to how you can make your career better. So learn, when you make mistakes, please learn from your mistakes. And I mean, never be afraid to try anything. If you make any success, celebrate it. Storytelling is powerful, and people always want to know the story behind every brand. Create a story around your brand that your audience can engage with. You know, I kept saying it that people want authenticity. I'm sure for those that are following me, I posted a story about maybe 3 or 2 weeks ago about how I met my husband when he had 2 shirts and 2 trousers. It made me vulnerable, and I attracted a lot of critics, right? You know, yeah, critics are good for your brand. Thank you. What they did for me, which they didn't know, was that they made the story go further than I expected. So normally when I post, my best engagement would have been, let's say, 6,500 likes on a post. But this particular story had 7,200 likes. And that week, and in fact, up till last week, I was still getting LinkedIn saying, congratulations, your post is the top 1% post on LinkedIn today. Congratulations. I was just laughing that. See people criticizing me. However, I know that this story is something that people could relate to, because I had people call me and say, even sending me messages to say, you know what, my family was following your story because it's the kind of, it resonates with us. It's how my wife and I met, and we were following your story. And we were also seeing people that were criticizing you, but we really appreciate the fact that you didn't respond to them. And in my mind, I was like, why? I don't have to respond, because everybody is entitled to his opinion. And however, it's my profile, it's my LinkedIn page, you know. So what am I saying to you? Be as real as you can be. You know, what people are used to, right, is see stories like, you know, I met my husband 2 days after he bought his Bugatti, and he proposed to me 5 months after in a private jet. I'm sorry, that's not my own story. I'm still going to get there. But right now that I've not gotten there, at least I can be myself and share what my real story is about. So this is our last session of the training, and it's what benefits does having a strong personal brand do for you? Number one thing, it gives you control. You are able to control your career development. Your personal brand is your personal asset. It's a commodity, your personal commodity that you take everywhere you go. Do you know that your organization does not do business because it's an organization? They do business because of the people that are there. People do business with your firm. Let me say it in another way, because you are there. And that's the power of relationship. And it's a personal asset that can determine how far you go. Please never ever be naive about your personal brand. It also boosts your career. Let me tell you, you'll be informed of vacancies before they become public. There are so many times HR managers, recruiters flood my inbox with, we need this, are you interested, or can you help us? If I say, okay, can you send me the JD? They'll say, no, we can't send it. It's still under the wraps. You know, it gives you the access to such kind of information. And let me tell you, the people that get jobs, it's not the person that has the best certificates, all right, that get the job. It's not only the person that has the impressive that gets the job. The person that gets the job is the person that has the combination of two things. He has the resume, all right? He also writes articles about his company. The person writes articles about the industry. He tweets about news and ideas. He does yoga and he shares it with his connections that, hey, I just finished my morning exercise. I just finished a half marathon or something like that. Or I'm also a volunteer in so place. Those are the people that get the job, because people are able to gauge whether they are going to fit into their corporate culture. So anybody that wants to hire me now, let's say there's somebody that wants to headhunt me, at least to a very large extent, they know me, all right? And they would already have made a decision of whether or not someone that fits into their corporate culture. And of course, a good personal brand will help you to attract new clients, new referrals. I can't tell you. I can't tell you how many times from others. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten referrals from my colleagues outside of Nigeria just because they read my articles on LinkedIn. You know, I would just say, hey, Olayinka, we have a client that in Nigeria. Are you able to assist? And I'll respond to them, oh, so thank you very much for the referral, but I'm not sure we have met. How come you're sending me this email? I'm not the partner, for crying out loud. And the person will say, hey, I know you're on LinkedIn, I follow your stories, and because this opportunity came, your name just popped up in my head. And that is what personal branding does for you. It also makes networking very easy. All right. My office. Olu, please.
Sorry, Yinka, please unmute yourself. Some people want to enter the meeting by fire by force. We will not allow that. Yeah, please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the third point is personal branding also makes networking very easy for you, all right? Why do I say that? There are some, my office is at UBA House, all right? And you know, UBA House has a lot of offices, different companies. And there are so many times that when I'm in the elevator, I'll just see someone turn to me and say, hey, are you Olayinka? Oh, wow, I'm so happy to meet you. I follow you. Thank you so much for sharing those stories. Is that not, is that not encouraging? Does that not make it easier for me to network and say, hey, yes, I'm Olayinka. What do you do? Can we connect? You know, it just makes it easy for you because people already know you and they find it easier to locate you when you have a personal brand that you're building. What other benefits? Right impressions. You know, we've said it that as someone that is pursuing excellence in his career, you can't afford to make wrong impressions. Every time people make contact with you, it has to be memorable. And it's also a leadership requirement, all right, that lets people know what you stand for. Nobody wants a leader, they don't know what the person stands for. So that's what personal branding does for you. It differentiates you, it makes you memorable, it makes people recognize you, and it also makes people know what you stand for. It's also something that enhances your profile. What are the other secondary benefits that you can name? So many opportunities, speaking engagements, so many invitations for interviews, job placements, you know, so you'll be the one telling your friends, there's an opportunity here. Are you interested? Go and do it. It also boosts your personal confidence. How does it do that? Because you find your voice when you build your personal brand. And when you find your voice, you become more confident in you PLC. So I become more confident in Olayinka because I have found my voice. I have found what I stand for. I have found what I want to be known as, all right? And it helps your self-esteem as well. So it's not just a brand that somebody has placed on you, that you have consciously built by yourself. It also enhances your productivity. So if you, let's say you are a market development person and you are asked to bring in sales, for instance, when people know you, it makes it easier for you to knock on those doors, to bring in those jobs, all right? So in closing, personally, what personal branding has done for me. I've mentioned So what personal branding has done for me, I've mentioned the fact that I was nominated as top 100 career women, but that's not the it for me. The it for me is number one, when people send me messages to say, you shared a story about how you failed an exam 3 times, and I just checked my exam and I didn't pass, and I'm crying right now because I just feel that that message is for me. Or when somebody sends me a certificate of an exam that they've completed, that, oh, you know what, I completed this thing because you encouraged me through one of your stories to complete it. That is what gives me fulfillment. That is what keeps me going. That is what makes me forget those that criticize me. When I get offers of recruits, so many offers, so many messages in my inbox. All right, sometimes I even tell my daughter that I think you are going to be helping me with this message because I'm not sure I can cope with all of these things. When people in your office give you more responsibilities to do because of the perception or the impression that you have been making for them. In closing, my final slide is my recommendation is that you should build a powerful and attractive, a visible personal brand that will serve your career. And I promise you, it definitely will. Thank you so much for listening. Over to you, Fumi.
Wow. That was, gosh, like I have my notebook full, like seriously full. Thank you so much. This was power packed, like power packed. It doesn't even feel like an hour plus has gone. So we'll quickly take a couple of questions before we let you go. So we have one in chat box right now. Please, if you have any questions, please drop us. So Godslaw says, hi Olayinka, thanks for your time today. Please, how do I build a personal brand in an area of profession that I do not really have experience in yet, but I'm interested in? So for instance, she has experience in corporate communications, but she's super interested in business management and she wants to build a brand in that. So how would she go about that?
Okay, thank you very much, Godslaw, for your question. The first thing I'll say, like I said before, is that it takes time to build a personal brand. It's not something that you should rush. It's something that people get to know over time. So for someone that is in corporate communications and is interested in business management, first thing I would say to you is LinkedIn, I think, is a good platform for you to build that brand. So follow the people that are in business management, that are influencers in business management. Engage them. What do I mean by engage? Like their posts, make comments on their posts, reshare their posts. So sometimes content doesn't really have to come from you. You can just do well by just sharing what somebody has said. That way your own connections will see the post. They don't care whether you created the post or not. You can also search, you can research on Google and just pick a topic on business management and just write about it. It can be just one sentence and just post about it and put a picture to it, So that's one of the things that you can do, but give yourself time. All right, just when you're interested in something, you always find a way of doing it. Just make sure that you keep your interest alive. First, combination of many things. It's not just I want people to know me. It's also developing the content within you. So read articles, read a lot of articles. By the time you read a lot of articles, you will also become a thought leader. You'll be able to write about it. You'll be able to make videos about it. You'll be able to be more creative about it. So I hope that helps.
Hey, all right. Thank you so much. And like they always say, the best time to start wasn't yesterday. The best time to start is now. So just love. I'm looking out for your articles and everything that you're going to put out. We have another question from Clever. Clever says, how do you communicate your values? Is it only by writing? Because I see that these days the only avenue and opportunity we have is digital. So via LinkedIn or WhatsApp or Instagram and the things you put out there. Are there other ways, maybe in an office setting, where you can communicate your values without writing?
Okay, so in terms of communicating your values, so first thing, your values are what people know you for, all right? And it's more of a non-verbal thing than a verbal thing. And it's more of something about, okay, people know you to be honest. There'll be scenarios that would test your honesty. How did you fare in those scenarios? That's how you communicate it. You don't have to write about. I can't go on LinkedIn and say, I'm very ethical. No. But I can work towards being ethical, that my boss can attest to the fact that, oh, Olayinka is ethical. Or my colleagues can say, I trust her, 8 o'clock, she's on her desk, even though she's working from home. That's how to communicate. And you know what? Most times you always feel that communication is always verbal. No, it's not always verbal. Non-verbal communication is even stronger than verbal communication. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. All right, so Precious says, how do you correct your personal brand when people have already formed the perception about you?
That's a very, very good and that's what we are trying to avoid by having this session, okay? You don't want to be in that position where they have already labeled you as, oh, this person is always coming late. So for instance, they know that you will never attend the meeting that starts by 8 o'clock because you get to work by 8:45. However, there's nothing that can't be changed. So it means you have to make deliberate efforts at identifying those things that you don't like, that they've labeled you for, and start changing those things. So if, for instance, like I said, you always come late to work, what I will expect you to start doing is try to come ahead of time, okay? Try to come on time so that, you know, with time, they begin to change that impression that they have about you. But it doesn't mean that it can't be changed. It's a combination of many things. It doesn't mean it can't be changed, but you have to make deliberate effort to make sure that those particular things that they've labeled you for that you don't like, then you start doing like the opposite of those things.
I was on mute. Okay. So we asked good pending questions earlier, and we'll just take 2 out of that so we can wrap up in less than 3 minutes. So the first one is, she says she thinks she's a likable person, so some trophy. Not just because everyone says so, but I mean, based on interactions and everything, but how would you suggest that she can create a balance between improving likability and keeping us? So there's something where people say it's eye service or you're just being, your own is too much, but how do you, keep being likable without appearing as, you're keeping but
okay. Thank you very much for that question. So please, I would say this. You have to know how to manage your stakeholders, okay? Stakeholders, your bosses, your colleagues, your juniors, your seniors, and all of that. However, I would also say that everybody can like you, and you have to know that your brand is not to everyone, it's not to the world. Like I said, Jesus is the only one that was sent to the world. We are not sent to everybody. So you have to make sure that you are professional in everything you do, but being liked cannot be a goal for you. Make sure that your goal should be something like you want to pursue excellence, you want to develop yourself, you want to add value to your organization. When people see that you're adding value, your boss doesn't like you. They don't need to like you. It's only your family members that should like you. That's where you should look for your like. It's not at work. So what you should do is to make sure that you do beyond expectations at work. That way, even if your boss doesn't like you, it will be forced to come to you because you're an authority. You don't need to be liked at work. I don't need anybody to like me at work. It's work. I'm here to work, not to be liked. If I need like, I'll go to my husband to get the like. You'll get what I mean. So what you focus on is your career excellence.
This table you're shaking. I mean, because a lot of people always feel like, no, you have to be likable at work. Your boss has to like you. So that when it's time for appraisals, you can just smile and, appraisal is going to be great. Well, I mean, that's very important.
So I'm not saying that you should not have good, that's why I said stakeholders, you have to learn how to manage your stakeholders. I talked about attitude, this bit. I'm not saying that you should be doing bad attitude and so and just say, this is who I am, just accept me as who I am. Nobody accepts rubbish. That's not what I'm saying, no. But I'm saying that for you to say that you don't want to do your work and you expect your boss to like you, I'm sorry, I don't buy into that. And unfortunately, I'm not also one of the people that knows how to do eye service. Maybe that's why. But what I know works is your boss hired you to solve a problem at work. If you are not solving that problem, they can't like you. Even if you go to his house to wash his car, he can't like you because the basis of your engagement, you are failing at it.
Very important. Okay, so one last question before we let you go. Is there a difference between personal branding and career branding? And then how do you balance it out? So let's say, for instance, hi, I am a project manager and that's what I stand for. But as a person, that's what I stand for in career. As a person, I want to be, let's say, more into business management and, help upcoming businesses just do the best in terms of structuring their business. Now, this is different from me being a project manager, but this is what I want to do. And the first career and that's personal. How do I balance it out and, just.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that question. That sounds more like me, all right? I'm a financial consultant. I'm supposed to be talking about valuation and due diligence. I'm supposed to be talking about how companies should raise their capital. But I tell you that personal branding is that thing that differentiates me, okay? So somehow I can talk about valuation, I can talk about fundraising, but at the same time, who I am, everything I am is about my purpose. I can't separate, that purpose of vision or passion from my brand. So you have to find a creative way of intertwining it. So you might notice that I post more of personal stories that are related to career, but I still talk about my work. Yeah, because my career is everything about me. It's not just the fact that career is not just where I work, or career is everything about you. It's about your life, all right? So you have to find creative means of bringing it together. So many people would not have known that I work as EY, as a consultant, if I was not sharing my personal story. You get what I mean? So you have to find a way of bringing everything together, because everything is what makes you you. It's what makes you unique.
All right, we've come to the end of today's session. Thank you so much. I mean, I follow you on LinkedIn anyway, so now I know it's every Tuesday. I have to set a reminder so I can read your post every Tuesday. Thank you so much for your time, man. Thank you for everybody that joined. There's a feedback from in the chat box. Please endeavor to tell us how today's session was and what we can do better and what you look out to learning more from us. Thank you. It's a goodbye from us. Have a lovely week ahead. I don't know if the governor has anything to say. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. We would like to have your slide. I think some people have asked for it on the chat box. If it's okay with you.
Of course, yes. I will send it to you immediately.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, for people who joined, who are not in the community group, sorry if your question wasn't answered. We were running late on time and we wanted to maintain a positive personal brand about timeliness about our group. So maybe what you can do, you can send it to her directly on LinkedIn. I think our LinkedIn profile is our name and our surname, our first name and surname, so you can easily find her on LinkedIn. And if people are not on the community groups who want to have access to the recording and the presentation, I think they can send their email address. If for me can just post now phone number on, okay, maybe email address is better. You can put your email address on that chat box so they can just send their email addresses to that so that we can send them the link to access the recording and also send them the presentation. Okay. So thank you, everybody. I think at some point we're almost 170 people on the call, and it's quite impressive. So thank you so much, Fumi, for being an amazing host. Thank you, Oche, and thank you, Yinka. Till we meet again at the next webinar, it's bye for now from me and to everyone. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
For
Thank you.
the session.
Thank you.